We have tomatoes coming in. I'm super excited about that. Okay, so now I need to utilize those tomatoes, and I'm going to make a tomato pie. You can either use a store-bought 9-inch pie crust, or you can make your own, or you don't even have to have pie crust. You can do this in a casserole dish. Now, you don't want to cook your pie crust. We're going to start by using an uncooked pie crust. But what I did was warmed it just a little bit so that I can actually poke some holes in here to keep it from bubbling up. And take your fork and press around the edge. It looks like you've worked so hard and it's homemade. And one other thing, it keeps it from slipping down too. Just like that. Go ahead and slice your tomatoes. Now we're going to put them in a strainer, and we're going to try really hard to get the juice out of them. And I know that sounds sacrilegious when it comes to a homegrown tomato, but you don't want all that tomato juice in your pie. You want your pie to be firm. Go ahead and put those in a bowl and set those aside. We are going to start by using about a half a cup of Duke's mayonnaise. I'm using mild cheddar cheese and mozzarella cheese. Parmesan works wonderfully, but I don't have that. And so I'm just going to use what I've got. 1 cup of mild cheddar, 1 cup of mozzarella cheese. Go ahead and give that a stir. Now take half of that mayo and cheese mixture and go ahead and put it in the bottom of the pie crust. I've got 3 medium-sized tomatoes, and we are going to put those in here. I'm using a half of a yellow onion that I put in the microwave for about a minute and a half to kind of saute it. Use half of that onion. Now grab the basil, and I'm going to lightly sprinkle that on top. I just used a pinch of basil, and I'm guessing about maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon. Now you're going to need some oregano, and I use a lot of oregano in my tomato pie, and that's what makes it so good. I'm using about a teaspoon on that first layer. I'm going to add about another half a teaspoon. So I'm guessing about a teaspoon and a half of basil on that first layer. And now we're going to do the second layer just like we did the first. These tomatoes are so good. Now the rest of those onions, a half a teaspoon of basil. Now this time we're only going to use about a teaspoon of oregano. I know that sounds like a lot of oregano, but I'm here to tell you it's good. Now it's going to look like it's overflowing, but that's okay. Now grab the cheese of your choice. I'm using cheddar cheese, and we're going to put this on top. This does need to be covered, and you can use aluminum foil. Here's a tip for you. Save a pie pan, and when you make these tomato pies or any pie, you can just set this on top, and voila, it's that easy. I haven't made one of these in a while, but I'm going to put this in our oven that we preheated on 350 degrees for about 30 minutes, and I'll be back. And voila. I cooked this on 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. I took that aluminum pie pan off the top, and then I cooked it for about 10 to 15 minutes longer. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna slice into it. Perfect. This is so good.